up is feed you burgers. Got it. I am so excited that you are here. I am neither Lindy nor Summer, but that's what they decided. As it is my last business meeting, I get to be in charge. All right, TCPA, don't break the law. All right.
Don't break the law.
Duncan.
Okay. So we got a couple of important things coming up folks, in terms of forms changes. So October 3rd is the change date for those. So what I'm going to try to do between now and October 3rd is, because I've already held meetings as months past preparing everyone for this. And I'm going to try to just address one form each week. So today I'm going to talk about the listing form. Okay, all these forms changes all have to do with the buyer agency and the fact that the DOJ is putting pressure on MLSs to change their way of doing business so that there's no possible collusion going on, no possible antitrust violations going on. Okay. So as kind of a lead into what I'm going to cover today and each week on each different form. So I'll cover the purchase and sale agreement form 21 change next week. I want to say this, that if I went into a grocery store and bought a whole big bunch of groceries, okay, so I'm giving my money to the store. I don't care what they do with that money. Store can do with it what they want. They can pay their employees, they can keep it for profit, they can do whatever they want with it. I'm buying groceries. That's it. Okay, paying the money. I don't have control over the employees. I can't go to the employee and say, hey, I own you because I'm paying for your salary because I'm buying these groceries. There's no pass-through going on. There's no pass-through going on. But this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to say that in our business, the buyer is actually paying commissions. So they have a right to full disclosure, everything. They're trying to give the buyer complete control of this thing. And I just think it's wrong. But nevertheless, it is what it is, right? And so we've got to comply. And we've got to deal with the transparency issue that they're trying to get us to do with buyers, which means the commissions have to be right up front. So the buyer knows and acknowledges those things, right? Everyone's panicked that I've talked with because they think there's going to be these huge changes in our way of doing business, and there's not. But you've got to be prepared. You've got to be ready for it. You've got to have the dialogues ready. You're going to have to always be doing the buyer agency agreement, Form 41A, always, right? I think that's changing to Form 41 and no longer 41A. So that buyer agency agreement, you're going to have to just get used to using it all the time if you're not now. And the dialogues that go with that. Because structure-wise, as I've said in the past, it's always been that in a listing agreement, the seller could just pay $35 to the selling agent. They could. That's always been there. Why don't sellers do that? Because no agents are going to show their listing. So they changed it to zero. Oh, what? I don't get my $35? What? Yeah, they changed it and said you can also just offer zero, which nobody does because it doesn't, they won't get their property shown except for a builder or one or two. But very few are doing that because it just is kind of shooting themselves in the foot. It's kind of stupid, to put it bluntly. So with that in mind, when we're talking about the listing agreement, The fundamental change in listings is that when I go as a listing agent, list a house for sale, now no longer am I putting it in the MLS and saying anyone who wants to represent a buyer, I'll share my commission with you. We'll split it. I'll give you half, I'll keep half. Okay, that's the way it's always been. That's no more. Now the way this listing form is structured is it's saying the seller is agreeing to pay me, the listing broker, X amount for a listing commission, which is line 30. They're paying me X amount for a listing commission. And then on 4B, the buyer's compensation, which is line 34, is going to be completely dealt with completely separately. It has nothing to do with the listing commission. So as an example, maybe the listing firm compensation on line 30, for me, the listing agent, is going to be 3%. Sorry, just watch it.
I appreciate it.
Is going to be 3%. But then on line 34 for the buyer's brokerage compensation, maybe that's going to be 2.5%. Whatever it is, could be 3 also. Depends on what the seller wants to do, right? But the seller is given the choice on those. And then additionally on paragraph 4 for compensation, 4A now has a section for dealing with this up front. We deal with this all the time in the past, but we've never dealt with it up front. So we're making the decision. If an unrepresented buyer comes to me to write the deal, how much of a commission, in addition to what I'm getting as a listing agent, am I going to get paid for that unrepresented buyer? Oh, it says if the buyer is not represented by a buyer brokerage firm, then the listing firm compensation, which was 3%, is going to be 6%, for example.
Sorry, my voice is gone. But go Hawks. Anyway,
You should go to every game now.
I know. I'd like to. It says the listing firm. So it's important that you don't just say, oh, hey, listen, if I sell it, I'll just take the 3%. Well, good. The problem with that is if the whole firm is covered in whatever you say there. So if Carla sells my listing, and I said I'm just going to do 3%, if I sell it, it says firm there. So that means everybody in this office could be whatever commissioner would be nothing. In other words, no, the listing side is 3%.
Right.
If you don't put something for that unrepresented buyer side, that means the buyer's side gets nothing.
Okay, so, yeah, right. So the amount that's going to go in there is going to be the total of what is on line 30 as a listing commission. It's going to be the total of that, plus anything extra just for having to walk this buyer through the deal. Okay, and so we've been through this, most of us, not in advance, but we've been through it, dealing with an unrepresented buyer coming our way, right? And we know that the amount of work that you're going to do is going to be a whole lot more. And it's going to be a whole lot more pleasant transaction because you're not dealing with another agent. So you just got to make a decision. What is that total commission going to be? 3 plus 2, let's say. So I put in a 5. So that's something that's got to be decided on, negotiated on up front. Get a conversation, get a dialogue ready for that because it's going to come up, right? It's got to be filled in and it's going to come up. Okay, I've got to move a little bit faster because I'm just down to the bare bones on my time here. So the buyer's compensation is going to be there on line 34. And then again, this is not compensation splitting out the listing agent's commission. This is a separate commission the buyer's going to get. Line 36 says this offer to pay buyer brokerage firm compensation may not be withdrawn or reduced with respect to a buyer after that buyer or the buyer brokerage firm has notified the listing firm or seller that the buyers intend to submit an offer and for 3 calendar days thereafter. So in other words, if the seller is going to drop the price and reduce their price or increase their commission or drop their commission, or whatever they're gonna do. Okay, this is saying that for 3 days from the time this, before this is changed, that commission is gonna be there. So the listing agent and seller can't just drop a commission because they know you got a hot buyer on it. They can all of a sudden just drop it. They can 3 days prior. But for 3 days, you got to, as a buyer's agent, you got a protected window there to make sure that that commission doesn't change. And we've all probably seen that happen where sellers or listing agents know there's a hot buyer on it and they just drop the commission because they can't. Now this is added. I just wanted to bring it to your attention that it's added. Dual agency also is addressed for the one that says that the listing broker is a dual agent, represents both seller and the buyer, then the buyer brokerage firm compensation paid to the listing firm shall be. So now up front, again, you decide what are we going to do if it's a dual agency.
So I have a question based on what Dennis said. Is that going to be a dual agency with someone else in our firm?
John's a dual agent, I think, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So
And
but
then,
that's the section that basically covers your question, right?
Yeah.
And the other one is.
Right.
Both of them.
Right.
Yeah, both.
okay, so then the extended, so on page 2 at the very top, line 47, it does say that the, for the expiration, it used to just say 6 months. You know, if somebody learns about the property and buys it 6 months after the expiration, for 6 months after the expiration, we're still owed a commission if they learned about it through us, right? Through our listing, being the MLS. Now it's given a choice. So instead of just saying 6 months, it's 6 months by default, but there's a line there where you're going to have to address that with your seller because your seller might say, well, what about this? So that's our period of protection. We got to have a dialogue ready for that. And then on paragraph 5, just to bring it to your attention, because I'm done, I just want to say that this just is giving authorization to non-member brokers to participate. So you check the box if your seller is okay with having a non-member broker from another MLS come and show and sell your listing, and who would they represent, you know, kind of thing. So those are the only changes that I saw really in this listing agreement that are of consequence for you. I wanted to bring them to your attention. You're going to want to go back over this yourself and study it out a little bit, right? And then start working on the dialogue to show value for each of those scenarios and situations. Yes.
Just a really quick question. Has Annie done videos on these?
Yes.
So they're-
Great question. Yes.
Question, for contracts entered into prior to October 3rd, does it require any retro action for?
No, we're changing the form or updating it to a new form. Yeah. Thank you. I was going to say that. I forgot. Yeah, so any forms you have in place, don't panic on October 3rd. and think you got to replace it with a new form. No, just use the existing form. But for anything from October 3rd and beyond, you're going to want to use that new form.
John did an extensive training on all the changes, and that video is on our YouTube channel. So if you are looking for more detailed information, that's where you should go.
Yes. And Kathy, you have a question?
Yeah, I'm still confused with the language about the selling firm being in the line 30 or right underneath that Dennis said. If we're saying, for example, if what we think we're saying is that if I'm dual agent in this, as the agent, not you as the broker, but I bring a buyer and I'm representing both, I get that I might get.
Okay, that's dual agents. So
Right,
this
but the idea of if that's the listing firm and Carla brings the buyer, or somebody in this office brings the buyer,
no, it's not
then
dual agents.
then I produce the commission for my co-agents here in this office.
No, that's not the case.
That's what Dennis said.
That's what it says, listing firm. So in other words, she's trying to give a discount if she does both ends.
Right, but she's saying if somebody else in the office.
Right,
represents the
but
buyer,
you're
right?
forcing it right here. If you fill
Well,
that in
line
as a lower
42
price.
says if the listing broker is a dual agent and represents both the seller and the buyer, not the listing firm. So line 42 says broker, not
Yeah,
firm.
yeah,
So
so,
But line 31 is the unrepresented buyer, so we wouldn't really have it on the broker's office if it's unrepresented.
right. So if it's an unrepresented buyer, then line 32, unrepresented buyer, line 32 is going to be the total of what the listing commission is agreed to on line 30, and anything additional for you having to walk that buyer through.
It's unrepresented, in other words,
Right.
nobody else from our office.
Correct, correct.
Okay.
Someone wandered in or trying to manipulate.
Does that make sense to you too, Dennis?
No, because I read it as in the listing firm compensation shall be blank. That's why I'm
the
confused
question.
about it, because
He's looking at line 30.
Line 30,
31.
31 and 32.
and 31, if the buyer is not represented by a buyer brokerage firm,
listing firm compensation shall be.
the listing
Well,
brokerage.
because you as the listing firm would be helping the buyer.
That's because it's an unrepresented buyer.
Yeah, but if
So
somebody
then
else
that would
from the
turn it-
firm.
No,
But that's
then
still
they're-
unrepresented.
42.
If somebody else in the firm brings up, then
Then
they're-
the
then
buyer.
they are represented.
Okay, got
So we're talking about when somebody just has no representation.
Just for clarification, so for line 31, that's gonna say, if we're saying 3% for our listing, and then unrepresented buyers, 5%, because they get discounted doing multiple work. Then the dual agency, that's gonna go back up to 6%.
No, this is, has nothing to do with dual
This is
agency.
unrepresented, meaning you're not doing dual agency.
Buyer has
So you're
no
writing a contract
representation.
and not representing.
No
your
agent.
own customer. You're not doing dual agency. They're literally, I don't do it. Have them be represented by someone. That's the, or do dual
Got it,
agency.
got it.
and have
You did
it-
great. You did great.
Basically, that's it.
Because if you do that, there's so much.
Right,
to
it's
do.
true.
Here,
Just
for each one,
Right.
naturally. Okay, just go down.
Right.
I do it, just have that about.
I would do that.
Hi, we're gonna talk about tech now. All right, so general availability, really exciting stuff here. You ready? The add to sales pipeline button that didn't do anything, it's gone now. That's the fun update. Are you so excited? But a few exciting things are coming up. So I am excited to share these with you. The first few are things related to DocuSign, which I know most of us in this office not really using. And I am going to release a video that walks specifically through the DocuSign enhancements for those of you who are, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time here talking about it because I know most of us aren't in here. This first one has to do with user experience, just moving some buttons around and making things a little easier to navigate. This next one is a room enhancement, and there are a few things being added here that have to do with envelopes and pre-tagged roles. If those are words that make no sense to you, don't worry about it. You don't use this. It's not important to you. If you do use DocuSign and pre-tagged roles, what this means is you're going to be able to assign those pre-tagged roles ahead of time rather than on the back end. Again, if you use them, that will make sense to you, and if you don't stress about it. Next, other things that are going away that don't do anything. There is a Kelly Smart view of campaigns. None of us know what that was supposed to mean or supposed to do, but the answer is right now it does nothing, so it's going away. They're doing a lot of cleanup of things that they, ideas that existed once upon a time that never quite came to fruition. We're cleaning those up and making them go away. Next, this one is really exciting. You should be excited. Those of you who, none of you would ever do this, would ever wait to create the opportunity till you're ready to submit your commissions and your documents. Nobody here does that. We're creating opportunities really early, right? So you would never be in a situation where you go to create the opportunity and the human being isn't in your contacts yet. That would never happen here. But let's say it did. Instead of having to get out of the opportunity and go over to contacts and create a contact and then go back to opportunities and create the opportunity, you will be able to create a contact while in opportunities. So it will let you add name, email address, and phone number. That's it. So if you want to add any other information, you'll have to go into the contact card, but it is going to allow you to create a contact while still in opportunities. Yes, Mackenzie?
The situation in which you might be doing this after you already have.
Uh-huh.
whatever. Let's say you're adding their spouse in.
Yep.
So you have someone and you're creating an opportunity with the spouse,
Mhm.
with a person, and you want to add their spouse.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes, super exciting. It'll be out in the next 2-ish weeks. We know that anything in yellow means ish. Yeah, so 2-ish weeks, you'll be able to do this. And we're all very excited. Please know that if you go to create the opportunity and go to create the human being and something happens, you get distracted and you don't complete creating the opportunity, it won't save the contact. So in order to go through the process of creating the contact, you have to finish the process of creating the opportunity. I am really excited about this one. I'm going to put a big ish next to this one because I've seen it come in and out of the yellow a few times. And this is templates in designs. What this means is you're going to be able to say, hey, I like this particular Facebook post, this particular flyer, this particular postcard, whatever it is. Kind of put them together in a group and then add the listing information to one spot. And it's going to populate all of those designs for you. Should be a big time saver. I haven't seen it in real life yet. So this is one of those, let's be cautiously optimistic. But WeBrand, who owns the design suite, is not a KW owned company. Sometimes they make decisions that we don't get to know about or have an opinion on. So while I am really excited about this, and I think it will come eventually, I wouldn't hold on to this ish date with heavy hands. But I've been seeing a lot of movement in this direction and it's doing really well in labs. So I foresee we will see a version of something like this out in the next few weeks. Instagram for social posts. This should also be out in the next 2-ish weeks. I am a lot more confident that this is going to happen quickly than the other. And this is being able to post to your Instagram business page from command. Notice I said Instagram business page. If your Instagram page is set up as a personal page or an influencer page, this will not work. If you need to know how to turn your Instagram page into a business page, let me know. I can send you the article. It's real easy. But this will allow you to do posts, not stories. And you can have up to 4 carousel images. This has been a big ask for a long time. So very excited to see this finally coming to fruition. That's my last tech update for you. I do have a class tomorrow, so if you really want to hang out with me a little bit more, I'm doing Grow Your SOI through Facebook tomorrow at 11, from 11 to 11:30. We did Instagram last week. We're doing Facebook this week. This is for people who are really interested in making Facebook marketing one of your big 3 lead generation sources. This is not a class for, I'm kind of interested in knowing how to social media. That's not what this is. So just want to prepare you if you're going to come to this class. We're really going to be talking about if you really want to lean in to Facebook as a lead generation source, a proven system that we've gotten from another agent in KW who's had great success. So I am excited to teach it. This will be the last of these little 30-minute things for a minute. They're going to go away and then they're going to come back after I've done my transitioning things. But we are releasing a lot of different models. The goal is not do all the models. If you try to do that, you will lose your mind. The goal is pick 1, maybe 2 that you are really excited about. So if the thought of spending 10 hours a week on Facebook makes you want to throw your hair out, this is not for you. Don't come to this class. Yeah, there will be another model that will be much more exciting to you. But this is just to help you really lean in and put some structure behind some of the activities that we're doing and really see the results. Questions? Cool. All right. Now the reason you're all really here, we are excited to have our Power Moms panel. I'm going to go ahead and ask everybody to come on up. And Violet's gonna come and. Yes, coordinate.
Thank you, thank you.
Really all
thank
the
you.
boards.
Yeah, we really
Yeah. Oh, I love it. She's coordinated. What can I say? So I guess I am the token old lady. And what I can tell you is the way I handle running a business and being with my grandchildren is very different than how I ran a business and was available for my children. So I'm going to get smarter too by listening to these wise women and the things that they're doing to balance it all. So do you guys know everybody? Should we start by introducing you?
Yeah, sure.
Do it.
All right, I'm Michelle Wallace. I'm a solo agent. I've been an agent for 5 years. Last year, my production was about 29 units.
I'm Erica Bartlett. I've been in the business for 9 years, I think. It feels like 10. We did 31 units last year.
And I'm Larissa Butler, also a solo agent. I've been in business for about 6 years, 5 of which was on a team. And last year I did about 36 units.
Wow. Okay, so I've been given some questions because Pam said it would be very weird if Dennis led the panel. So here's the questions. How does your experience as a mother impact the way you do your job? Let's go first.
I can go.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I have almost no S at all. I'm like a 19. And I feel like as a mom, that has increased a little bit. Like actually being aware of people's life situations going on and just a little bit more sensitive to that and not just all business all the time. Because I get that stuff comes up that's max like high priority. And before I was a mom, I didn't really get it.
Mhm.
So that's changing for me.
I think for me, for my business, I've learned that boundaries are important for me in my business, because before I would go do showings on a Sunday, it really didn't, was really not the best at saying no. But now that I have a family and that's a priority for me, I have the structure for my business. And if anything, it's actually helped. My clients are like, they understand that and they have a family too, and they appreciate it.
I
So
love that.
Yeah, pretty much what they said.
And I love what you just shared. And I think that that's really true for all of us, whether you're a mom, whether you're a dad, whether you're single, having a real structure to your business really gives you your life back.
Yeah.
Had I been able to redo at least the first 10 years, that would have been the primary thing that I would have changed, is that I matter and I need to have some schedule that works for me, that I can clearly communicate. That's awesome. How do you manage your business life and your home life? What does your balance and your management look like?
To-do list, literally having a to-do list every day. Our schedules are always changing all the time, and our kids are always changing, soccer practice, and just trying to keep everything, prioritized. So that's a huge thing.
for me, it takes a village. I have a bench of people that help me to do that. So having a partner that's very supportive and the communication between us is key, I feel like. He is not in real estate, and so just making sure that we share calendars, we know where everyone is and who has the baby and all of that, so.
Yeah, and I'm gonna echo Erica on the to-do list, and like I live by a day planner. Not only weekly am I creating that, but then daily revisiting that and knowing what my priorities are. So something's gonna come up in either real estate or being a mom of young kids or kid. That's gonna happen. And so knowing what those priorities are off the top of your head, so you're not having to scramble and try to figure it out. You already like instantly, I know that my kid's sick, everything goes out the window. Like,
And I think your confidence in that response makes a huge difference how that's received
yeah.
by your client.
Oh.
And they are so appreciative, like what Michelle was saying, they're so appreciative when you have those really strong boundaries. They're like, I get it.
Yeah.
You're a professional, you're a human. You're not just ditching somebody or not responding to them. They understand that as long as they're not impacted, they don't lose the house of their dreams.
Right.
They will work around.
Right.
Yeah.
And having this like market center and our Facebook group of people are so responsive to help pick up. That is like, I don't know how I would do it without some
That's
people in this room.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. What makes real estate a good option for women? And especially moms?
There's so much opportunity. You gotta, like I was like a CNA, making $16 an hour, like barely any you know, like college education and like, you know, like now we're millionaires, like, you know, like, so there's just so much opportunity. You could grow so much. So that's a huge thing. And the flexibility, you know, and just like setting those boundaries, like having those things where you don't, if you don't want to work weekends, you can make that happen if you truly want to, you know, so I think that's a great opportunity for moms.
Yeah, flexibility was my answer to that one. I mean, it's huge. And I have my child, well, she's not even 2 yet, but I mean, when she does get to school age, if I needed to go to the, you know, be a lunch mom for 1 day a week or something like that, I could. So that's what I
A great lead generation.
exactly.
That's the thing, anything with kids is
Right.
lead
Lead
generation. Like,
generation.
I'm gonna bring the snacks to the soccer games,
Yes.
like I will make
You're gonna
myself
sponsor
known,
the
right?
team. You're
Yeah,
gonna-
so I
Yeah.
think having like life as a mom to be your lead generation,
Mhm.
huge plus, because I'm
Yes.
basically working all the time, even though I'm not, I'm
Right.
having an excuse to just go have fun. And like you guys said, like you have the flexibility to work when you want, how much you want, and make however much you want. So if you decide you want to work 20 hours and make $1 million, you can do that. And specifically, this company teaches you how to do it.
Right.
I think that's so cool.
I love that. I love that. All righty. What does your schedule look like? And do you really have all the flexibility that you need? Who's not sleeping?
My daughter is having molars coming right now, so we are on sleep regression and it's not fun. My schedule changes every day. I will say I'm very thankful that I have, my mom is my admin and she's also childcare at my home. So that is, I'm very grateful for that. Yes,
That's a great
it is a great plus. But like I said, when I have a bench, I have 2 other nannies that are like my backup if she's not available. But my schedule, it changes every day, but that's also the beauty of this,
Right.
you know, industry. But I try to keep, mornings are actually with her. I spend it with my daughter. So my mom doesn't come until a little bit about 9 o'clock usually. So that's actually the time that I can spend one-on-one with my daughter. So that's been really great. And then my schedule, I have to be home at least 3 bedtimes. I will not go to showings later than that. So
I don't have any help except my husband. He didn't have.
Who's a
kids.
great help, I'm sure.
Yes. You know, I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, so we have them with us in the car with us, you know. I never missed a beat with them, like we got to see all their first, and, you know, they were flexible with us, and we were there for them, and, but yeah, just like it changes, like real estate is just always changing, so our schedules are always changing. But yeah, like just leaning on your partner and just like having space, making space for your kids and making space for your business too. So
I like that we all do schedules different. So I like a more corporate like schedule. Like I
Show me your time box, girl. Show me your time box.
I'll show you. No, so I live by if it's not on my calendar, like I can't retain it. So my son's only 3, but I've always like taken him into like a Montessori, some sort of school. So I will take him in, I'll spend some me time or some workout time in the morning. And then I'm usually like office work, either here or home from 9 to 2:30 or 3-ish. And then similar to Michelle, bedtimes I'm only missing like maximum 1 or 2 a week. So most of the time I'm back home and enjoying my time with him, evenings with him and my husband. And then weekends, I try to just do like a 1 half day on the weekends.
Because there's always an opportunity to do something else. And unless you decide in advance that you're just not available for it, you'll constantly be paying the price.
yeah. And I think that was the scariest part for me when I took Sundays off, was like, oh, well, I'm gonna miss, you know, but it's honestly, when I tell people that during my buyer presentation and listening, that they respect it. They're like, I'm, you know, good for you. So
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
awesome.
it's
And then
never
you better
lost
not
a
call them on
client.
Sunday.
Yeah, I've never lost a client from it. So yeah.
That's really true. Who inspires you and why?
I can go first. Other than like Amelia Earhart, because she's amazing. I would say like, I would actually put my grandma on that list. And so she very much was of the mindset that she wanted to do what she was passionate about, regardless if that was like the culturally correct thing to do, either now or then. And she never shamed anybody or made an excuse for the way she did it and kind of projected that to somebody else. So I love that she like was just very much like, this is what fits me, and if that fits you, I love that also. And I think that's really cool.
That's awesome.
There's so many people that inspire me. My husband, my kids, Pam and Dennis, like just a lot of people just inspire me. God and, you know, putting that first in my life and, you know, just always trying to, you know, make everyone proud, including myself, you know, so.
I think the person that inspires me the most is actually my sister-in-law. She is pregnant with baby number 4, and she is an amazing mom, and she's also my preferred lender, and her and I work together all the time. But just her, she's the best mom, clearly, I think I've ever met, and just how she does her business on top of being a mom of almost 4 is pretty amazing to watch, and just how selfless she is and everything that she gives to her clients too, and just making sure that they're having the best experience. So she's my inspiration.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Having multiple kids close together has got to make it more complicated.
Yes.
I was not that
So.
way. I had my second when my oldest was 7. And so it was almost like we had a third adult, which we really needed because he was probably the best adult in our family. But I cannot imagine having 3 or 4 small.
They'll
ones
have
and
4
trying to
under
work.
5.
It's unbelievable to me. Have you experienced any barriers being a mom in real estate? What have you run up against?
Well, for me, when Evelyn was first born, creating the boundaries obviously was like the first barrier. And also barrier of just being a mom. Like I had to like learn how to pump in the car and like do all of these things that you're like, oh, I didn't think I would ever have to be doing this right now. So I think those are probably some of the barriers that I've been trying to overcome since becoming a mom.
Yeah, same, yeah, boundaries, just having those boundaries. So we're actually taking a sabbatical, taking the rest of the year off.
Tell me more.
Yeah.
I'm envious.
So I've been off work for 2 months. And I mean, Adam's closing his last deal on Friday. So we're taking the rest of the year off, but just creating that time, you know, so, but just like having those boundaries, having to say no, not working on Sundays. Like we didn't really do that, you know, the first 9 years, you know, and then just slowly like doing that, but it really burnt you out, you know, raising 2 kids and the business. And then, you know, we had to do what we had to do to get better, you know, and like listening and going into classes and, you know, having leverage, you know, was a huge game changer.
Yeah.
So
you've got a great system in place to refer your business to in the
Oh, yeah.
meantime.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Our neighbors.
Perfect.
Yeah. So everyone's rolling into them and, you know, people are, you know, totally fine with us taking time off. So, which is awesome.
We're really the ones who have to get over that.
Exactly, yeah.
It's our control. That's
It's our
the barrier.
mindset. Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
I'd say for me, so I was really resistant to motherhood. Like I really had a challenge, like becoming a mother. It was like a birthing to motherhood. Because I really liked the corporate and I liked feeling masculine in those ways. And I liked being the provider. And so that has been a journey for me. I would say I'm still on that journey of actually enjoying being a mom. It's a little bit easier now that my son's 3, we can like have conversations. But just the newborn baby.
Yeah, he's gonna say yes.
No, but I love the sass, right? So like I'm good with that. But I think just like learning to accept and embrace that as now part of me and not feeling like I have to either be one or the other and that I can instead be both. I think that's not something that was necessarily taught to me in like the culture that I grew up in or what I see a lot. So just learning that and becoming more accustomed to that and still being able to show up as a masculine business owner, as a female mom, has been a fun journey, but also a challenge.
Awesome. But awesome that you recognize it and that you're pushing through it.
Yeah, lots of coaching.
We have more than a single identity.
Yeah.
And lots of great coaching. I love it. How do you navigate raising a family, running a business, and most importantly, making time to take care of yourself?
Lots of coaching.
Yes, I have a coach as well, and that is something that we talk about weekly. So, and it's sticking to the schedule, making sure that you're also on the schedule. For me, the gym has to be on my schedule when I'm looking at my week coming up. So making sure, and for me, it was getting into a morning routine because that before she wakes up, so that way I have time to myself before she's awake.
Waking up early, before everyone else wakes up, spending that time, and it's really peaceful in the morning too, before all the boys wake up. So, yes.
I've not mastered that. I want to do that because I just like my sleep so much. I can't figure out how to wake up before people. But I think one of the things one of my coaches had given to me a while back was this idea of leveraging the personal things in my life. We sometimes, I personally kind of justify, like, I need to do all the things. I need to do the housekeeping and I can't go to the spa because I can't afford it, or it's a luxury that I shouldn't do. And I swear spending $100 a month on a housekeeper has been game changing for me. Just that little mindset shift is like
so important.
Yeah, and it's self-care also, because otherwise who's doing it? Not my 3-year-old, right? Like it's me that's gonna clean. So
Any help that you can get with things around the house just gives you more quality time with your kids.
yeah, absolutely.
But it's hard to get used to because it really does feel like an indulgence. And spa is absolutely necessary, in case you were wondering. It's just part of the job, so we can talk about that. You don't need another coach for that.
If you leave it when you're there, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, work it out. What advice would you give to others that are maybe walking beside you in this journey?
Give yourself grace. It's not going to be perfect. I feel like there's with social media and the way things are, and you're comparing what you're doing to what everyone else is doing, and what, my kid's 17 months old. Oh my gosh, she's not saying as many words as that kid is. And should I be doing flashcards? And just don't compare yourself. Like, you just got to give yourself grace. You're in the season for a really short amount of time, and just spend as much time as you can with your kids, and it's all gonna work out. So
I totally agree. Grace, having grace within yourself, have grace for your kids, in your business, and sometimes you don't have to get that deal. You could say no to that and say yes to other things, and know like you're gonna be fine, or that wasn't meant for you. And just having those type of like confidence in yourself, that you don't have to be perfect, or you could sleep in if you want to, you can get everything you need to get done, but it just like, you don't have to be perfect all the time.
Yeah, I think very much echoing both of those is taking time to reflect on what you personally really want. Not what your mom wants you to do, not what culture wants you to do, or any mom's blog, but what you personally want to do, and then figuring out how to do that and not worrying about anything else. And if what you want to do is totally counter to culture, go find somebody else that matches that same culture, because somebody out there is doing what you want to do at a high level, and you can find it. It just might not be like super.
And I think you guys are right. Some of the classes and the opportunities that we have, like I'm thinking about the purpose classes, really understanding your mission statement. How do you break through to get there? What does it look like when you show up at your best? All things that just keep calling us to our highest and best self.
Yeah, I think also motherhood changes you, like in all kinds of different ways. But you're an evolution of change. And so what you decided you want to do last year could be different than this year. And giving yourself some permission, some grace to choose to do business and life different.
Right.
Your littles are always watching you.
Yeah.
They're,
And they never forget.
Yeah,
It's
they'll
just-
never forget watching what you're doing, or how you spend your money. Like they're there, like they're gonna be like Chris Ranch, right? Like, so it's just that you just have to model what you want them to be. So.
And knowing how, okay, if I can just like for a second, my son did this the other day, and it like broke my heart, but also made me giggle at the same time. He had this little play phone, he picked up this, hold on, walks out of the room. Yeah, okay, fine. Comes back, and I was like, oh no. They really do watch, and they're watching how you treat them also.
my daughter's first thing was ring ring, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, my boys are such great negotiators. Great thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. So in closing, what is the hardest thing? What's been the hardest thing about this journey?
I think, like Larissa was saying, like my identity, like I was very much, independent. I left the house when I needed to, did what I needed to. And, my husband understood that and it was not a big deal. But then I'm like, I have this person that I'm responsible for. And it's like a little version of me. And like, that was, and your whole identity changes when you're a mom. So I think it still is something that I'm working through and figuring out how to fit all of the things into what I want to do. So.
I think with my kids being a little more older, just now they're in school full time. So I get 7 hours of like freedom plus my sabbatical. So like I'm a whole new creature. But just like learning how to be quiet, like you don't have to be always answering your phone, always answering your text or being on the computer, just like, or being around our kids, like be by yourself a little bit and have that peace. Like that's what I learned during this sabbatical. It's just like, how do I just be quiet and just listen, of nothing? Like that's super important. And we take for granted the quietness of our life.
I think figuring out what I personally really want, not what other people want for me or what I think I should want based on what other people are saying or how I was raised, but what I personally want, and then figuring out how to do that has been the challenge because I don't even know half the time what I actually want. It's just somebody else's voice. Like it's constant, right? Social media or parents or whatever. You can tell I have other issues. But just like you said, like being still, I think having some of that stillness like help get that
You're
out,
good, girl.
too.
You're good.
Yeah.
You got this. Yeah. Well, does anyone have a question that if we stop now, you're going to walk away disappointed that you didn't get to ask them? And I just want to say thank you. Oh,
So not
Kathy.
a question, but I just want to celebrate the generational change that is transforming. And I would say generation after generation, we've all been working towards this, and you guys are doing it to that next step. So congratulations.
absolutely. Say thank you. I wish I was as smart as you guys 30 years ago, 35 years ago, because there's a lot of things that I would have done differently and nobody talked about it, right? So either you stayed home and sold a house or two a year, or you took on the neighborhood and the community and then went for the world and then always felt like you weren't doing what you needed to do for your children. And to really hear you guys talk that through in a way that gives you permission to do both, and not both at the same time, but to decide based on the season of your life where you want to be and how you're going to change things to always be there for your kids and your clients. So thank you.
Thanks, guys. You guys really should take a family photo. You look super cute. All right, we've got some announcements. All right, so Business Planning Clinic is coming up on October 4th and 5th at Farm 12.
Nope, there is going to be a
Venue change. It'll still be in Puyallup.
Yep.
Food will still be included. Everything else is the same. Please register early. And if you are thinking, I don't need to go to Business Planning Clinic, you are wrong. This is like the one thing a year that I think no agent on the planet should be allowed to miss. If I could make it required, I would. So make sure you get registered. I don't know what the seating capacity is at the new venue, so let's assume it's going to sell out. Register today. All right. Our auction is coming up on my birthday, so y'all throw a big party. Yep, and we're gonna let Jackie come up and tell us a little bit about it.
Awesome. So tickets are officially on sale. So like most things in the past year, prices have gone up, so bear with us. As a reminder, the ticket sales cover the cost of the event. So we wouldn't charge this price if we didn't have to, so just keep that in mind. So they are a little bit higher. And we have individual tickets, reserved table tickets, and a few VIP table tickets, which for the first year, we're going to give away one golden ticket. for the VIP tables. So if you don't know what a golden ticket is, golden ticket, if your golden ticket is selected during the event, you get your choice of a live auction item. So pretty cool. But today I wanted to do something fun and collect some money. So last year we asked people to Venmo me some money. We went shopping for you. And based on how many people in this room, I think we can get $1,000. So my Venmo is at Heritage Home Partners. Who wants to be the first person to donate?
I do what I'm.
Thank you. Dennis, I saw you. Michelle. So we still got a meeting to go, but I'll let you guys know our total when the meeting's done. Get your tickets. Oh, lastly, we need donations. In addition to the money, but if you guys do want to donate a basket, we're collecting those. Everyone always asks me, what do you want? Anything that's themed, Seahawks, alcohol, Sounders, pets, kids, anything you can think of.
Yeah,
Experiences are
Airbnbs.
awesome.
Yeah.
Airbnbs are wonderful. If you can get a 2-night stay from your favorite person that owns an Airbnb, those rock too. So more to come.
I can't, don't even announce at the same time. All right.
Oh, real quick for the Venmo, don't put spaces, otherwise we won't find it. No spaces. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard you were gonna talk about baseball too. You want to keep talking?
I didn't even know I was supposed to be here. This is next week, so coming up quick. This is an annual thing that we do. I think we have 100 seats, right, Brandy? As of yesterday, we had 52 tickets sold. So we've got a great sponsor at Debbie and Caliber. You're spending some money for us to get these discounted prices. You guys get food, drinks, free game. So can you and need to hang up this. So. And Pam and Dennis will be there, so you can schmooze them. There's QR codes all around. Next Tuesday evening, I realize school has started. There's sports. Like these moms said, we make the choice that we say yes or no to. So let's show up.
Thank you for talking about baseball. Give me time to jump. All right, our monthly market update is tomorrow. It will be recorded, but it will be made live at 1 o'clock on Wednesday, where Dennis Ranch will be telling you what's happening in the market right now. Anna's CMA workshop is back. It is happening on Friday, the 16th. That is on Zoom. So it is accessible to any and everybody. We know that it's always current to what's happening right now. So even if you've been before, it's always good to re-attend.
You also get a link to her presentation that has all of the adjustments in it. So highly recommend it. Yes.
I am going back. I am going forward again. Okay. Find your real estate sweet spot with Summer on Wednesday, the 21st at the Mountains to Sound location. She's going to be talking about how to use your KPA to determine how you want to focus in your business. So how to help you be successful doing the things you enjoy doing. 2022 Profit Share Virtual Summit on Thursday, October 6th, with all of these very impressive names. So you should go. That's it. There's food outside. Have a great day.
We're at $838.
$1,000. Last four of my phone number are 0. You can buy that. It helps. Make sure it's going to the right person. Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, this year was. I finally got.
Better using me.
Okay. Do everything. Yeah, it's fun. Since we're back, I know, right? It's funny when staff do it accidentally, like, I mean, some days I'm like,
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's today. I'm just that sharp. I'm not saying that today. I'm just.
That I don't.